Yo, what's up guys? Arekkz here, and today I want to talk about Super Mario Party. The game came out on Friday. I have been super looking forward to this. If you guys have played Mario Party before, then you'll know that it's kind of in the name. It is the ultimate party game. It's also the destroyer of friendships, but despite that, it's an awesome game. And of course, since I spend a lot of time playing on Nintendo Switch, I've got a lot of friends that play on that, I was really looking forward to diving in and sharing that experience with loads of people, of course the wider community. And while there are some great aspects in the game, there are some great new additions, there are also a few points where Nintendo have missed the mark a little bit and the game falls a little bit short. So I figured today we'd talk about that in a new episode of The Verdict. For those of you that might be new to this series, then The Verdict is my chance to talk about my opinions, things that I like, things that I don't like, about a variety of different games, and today it's all about Super Mario Party. Now, to begin with, let's start at the very top and give you a top-level summary of exactly what this game includes. You dive in, you have 20 playable characters to choose from, plenty of recognizable Mario characters. You can also play as Bowser, a few new characters, so there's definitely a nice enough roster to choose from. And then once you've selected your character, you dive into the plaza and you have a variety of different games, modes to choose from. You of course have your conventional Mario Party mode. If you've played before, then you'll be familiar with this. If you haven't, then you essentially play through a series of different themed boards across a number of different turns. You can of course pick how many turns you want to play, whether you want a longer game or a shorter game. And of course, you will then roll your dice, move your way across the board. At the end of everybody's turn, you then take part in mini games. And these mini games are where a lot of the hilarity in Mario Party come from, and it's also where a lot of your friendships will probably end. Get out of the way!
Why is he going quicker than me? I've got no popcorn!
Oh no, am I dead?
Get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way! I've done terribly. Oh, fourth place. I have let down the family.
My gosh.
However, if you don't want to dive into the conventional mode, there's a lot of new modes. There's one that's quite interesting called Toad's Rec Room, which will actually see you playing more so on tabletop mode. You'll take the screens for the Nintendo Switch, multiple Nintendo Switches, link them together, and essentially extend the display. And while I haven't had a chance to test this out in person, because I haven't had a chance to meet up with someone else that has the game, I have seen this in action, and while it is interesting, it does seem that a lot of those mini games specifically for that setup are quite limited, so it's more so a sort of show of what can be done, more so than something you'll actually spend a fair amount of time investing in. Outside of that, there are also different ways to experience the conventional mode. There's team modes, there's a River Rapid mode, and you can just dive straight in and play all of the mini games. There are 80 new mini games to choose from. Some of these you'll have right from the get-go, some of them you'll need to unlock by playing through the game. And of course, you can then dive online and play some of those with your friends. The important word there being some of those. I'll speak a little bit more about online a little bit later in this video, but that is definitely one aspect of the game that I was super looking forward to, but is unfortunately a bit of a letdown. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the core experience. If you are playing Mario Party in the traditional sense, in that you have got your friends over, you're sitting on the couch, you're in the same place, this is a fantastic experience. This is a game that is designed to be played just like that. If you want to kind of mess around and you want to sort of tease your friends and you want to ruin those friendships, it's the sort of thing you want to do face to face, right? It's like playing old school fighting games. It's much more exciting, it's much more gratifying if you beat your friend and they're sitting right next to you than if you speak to them online. You want to smack talk them to the face, you want to see their expressions when they lose that mini game. So if you plan to play Mario Party like that, then you are going to have a great time. You have access to the complete experience. You can play the board game, you can play the conventional modes, you can play the new modes, you can play any of the mini games, you can play every single aspect of this game as a team. I will say one of the things that some of you guys might not necessarily like too much is that you do play pretty much all these games with a single Joy-Con. In fact, every single game is a single Joy-Con. You won't be using the Pro Controller, you won't be holding two Joy-Cons, you will just be holding one on its side. Now, that's not too bad, you get used to it, and of course the reason for that is because a lot of games use motions. There'll be parts where you're throwing things, where you're spinning things and shaking things, so it makes sense. But of course, if you do have bigger hands, there will be some times where it's a little bit finicky. I would definitely recommend using the grip, just because it gives you a bit more real estate to hold. It also makes the ZL and ZR buttons a lot easier to press, and it also just makes it so that if you are going to be swinging it, you're probably not going to lose the controller. That is definitely one point that I think a lot of people might take some adjusting to, just because of course if you are playing in a team, sometimes if you've got the left Joy-Con it feels a little bit different. I've personally found that holding the right Joy-Con is probably the most comfortable to hold on its side, so that's the one that I typically lean more towards, but that is the only way you'll be playing Super Mario Party. So that's one thing to consider, but I guess on the flip side, it also means that you invariably always have 2 controllers with you, and then carrying 2 extra Joy-Cons is infinitely easier than lugging around 4 Pro controllers. So there's pros and cons. Now the boards themselves, they are really cool. You of course have the different theme boards, and they've always been a really fun aspect of the game. You have all the different spaces you can land on, you have different ways to interact with the boards, you have these interesting elements that you can activate to uncover hidden stars, and as is to be expected, you also have the annoyance of when you get to the end of a round, everybody gets awarded those bonus stars and it completely messes up the rankings. I will admit that in this particular game it actually worked in my favour, but invariably this is the part of the game where you go in all confident, thinking you won the game, and then your buddy gets given a spare star and then you drop from 1st to 4th. But that is one of the joys of Mario Party.
Congratulations!
However, what I really want to talk about is online, because this is, in truth, one of the things that I was looking forward to the most, but it's also one of the things I was most disappointed about. Now, I appreciate that Mario Party is, as I've already explained, one of those games that is best played in person. But there are those situations where you might not necessarily be with your friends, you might not necessarily live nearby, and it is still nice to be able to experience that online. And while you can play Mario Party online, you can only play the mini-games. You cannot play the regular board game. You can only dive into the mini-games, and on one aspect you might think, you know what, that's not too bad, because let's be honest, the mini-games are a core part of the game, probably the core part of the game, so if you drop the board aspect of it, then playing mini-games back to back, especially when there's 80 of them, isn't so bad, right? Well, yes, if you could play all 80, but you can't. And this is where the trouble comes in. If you're playing online, you have access to just 10 mini-games. Just 10. That's it. You don't get to pick from the 80, there is a selection of 10, and that's what you play online. And therein lies the problem, because most mini-games last 1 to 2 minutes, so, you know, playing through 10 isn't going to take you very long. We played this on stream on Friday on TwoSixNine and Paradise's stream, and within an hour, we were already beginning to get bored of those 10 mini-games. Now, of course, if we had access to the complete roster of 80, this is something I could see myself playing time and time again. But already, after just one single hour-long stream, I already feel like I've used up the 10 mini-games to the point where I just wouldn't have the same experience, the same gratification playing it a second time round. Sure, I might jump online if I'm playing with some people that haven't played the mini-games before, or someone that I haven't played with, but at least among my core group of friends, we've kind of done it already. There doesn't really feel like any reason for us to jump back in and go online again, because those mini-games are just the same. We know what they feel like, we know how to play them, and, you know, unless we kind of leave the game for a few weeks, it's not really going to have that magic come back. So that is one of the biggest unfortunate things, especially in light of Nintendo Switch Online launching. This could have been another great string to their bow. This could have been a great way to dive in. If you could genuinely play all 80 mini-games online and you can't play the board game, that still would have been fine, but you can't. And that is kind of a big deal breaker for me, because it is a game that I really enjoy and I love playing those mini-games, and it is something that if I go around to friends' houses, I will 100% play. But as it exists right now, when I'm busy, when I'm working, and I don't really have a chance to go to meet up with friends, and the only way I'm playing with them is online, I don't honestly see myself playing this game too much more. So that is a little bit of a shame, because it is something I was super looking forward to, and that is one big letdown. So that's kind of it from me for the time being. That's my overall opinion on Super Mario Party. So kind of the top level is, if you're going to play it in the traditional sense, with your family, with your friends, in person, on the couch, 100% pick it up, because it's a great game and you're going to have a lot of fun. If you're buying it solely so you can play online with your friends in the hope that you're going to have the true Mario Party experience, then be prepared to be disappointed. But at the end of the day, it's entirely up to you. That's what I think. That's my experience with it. It's still a fun game. It's just a shame the online wasn't better. So for the time being, that's it from me. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have picked up this game. Let me know if you guys have got any different opinions. Let me know your thoughts. But until then, be sure to keep it locked for much more from Arekkz Gaming. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to check out some more awesome stuff from us here at Arekkz Gaming, then you should definitely try to catch TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. They play a wide range of games, and what's more, we also have the end game store. By watching their streams, you earn currency, and you can redeem that currency on the endgame store for really cool prizes. Those can range from things like games, comics, and figures, all the way up to controllers, capture cards, and even consoles. So definitely drop by and become part of the community. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you're subscribed and be sure to click on that little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next upload. You can watch more videos by clicking on the options here. But once again, thanks very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.